The podcast you're about to hear involves true stories, which may contain graphic content that is not suitable for children. Listener's discretion is advised. This is Esoteric Oddities.
Hi, boys and ghouls. Rude.
We already did that.
What?
Girls and ghouls.
Okay, well, you act like we don't say, hey, guys, every fucking episode.
That's true.
I'm trying to be orig.
That's not original if we said it already. I
already hear it.
Stop. I hate you. I hate when you do that. I remember one time I got into a fight with this girl in MySpace because she called me original, but I thought it meant something else.
You thought she was calling you like an Ellen DeGenerate?
I love that word, you fucking Ellen DeGenerate. No, really, I thought it was like a word for copying everyone else. So I was like legit fighting with her. She was like, I like meant that you do stuff that no one else does.
And you're just like, listen here, bitch. And
you already know I went the fuck off.
Were you doing it publicly?
You already know.
Oh my God, you crack me up sometimes, and that is one of the times.
I'm like, you crack me up sometimes, and that is one of the times.
It is. Also today I cracked up because he's probably not going to listen to this, but I have a coworker. Let's call him Ken. I actually do have a coworker named Ken, but it's not that coworker.
Why wouldn't I listen to it?
No, he would. I'm saying he's probably not going to listen to this episode.
Oh, that's good. Okay, cool.
So Ken is somewhat notorious. I wouldn't say notorious, but like he's the person who doesn't lock the bathroom door, and people have opened the door on him dropping a deuce twice now. And
come on, Ken.
So today,
get it together, Kenneth.
Today, my other coworker is like walking by the bathroom and he hears the door jingling from inside. And he doesn't think anything of it, goes to the kitchen, gets coffee, walks out of the little kitchen break room, John, walks past it again, and someone's knocking from the inside. So he's like, you okay in there, buddy? Here, it's Ken locked inside the bathroom.
Oh my God, no.
They like tried to get him a screwdriver. They took out ceiling tiles and were trying to pass it over to him. And Ken, he's short, but he is like jacked. He's like ripped.
Jacked. Yes, Jack.
What?
It's an Incredibles thing.
Oh, okay. You're cultured, obviously. I'm not.
Duh. Have you not met me?
You're so original.
Shut up, you stupid bitch.
It was probably like you probably thought like fiction and nonfiction were the opposites, right?
Shut up.
Am I right?
Yes. No, because they mean the opposite of each other, which is weird. Like you would think that fictional meant real. Why?
It's fiction.
I don't know.
It's like fiction is like fake, and then nonfiction is non-fake.
I don't know. I always think things are the opposite of what they are.
Same with national and international.
Oh my God, I know what international and national means. Like we're national. Someone outside the country would be international.
I love that.
Thanks. So what happened with Ken?
So he ended up kicking down the door. He just ripped it. No, he didn't kick it down. He ripped it off the hinges. Yeah.
Yo, that took a turn.
Yeah, I didn't even build it up. He really did. They were like, hold on, we're gonna take off the thing, and he's like,
no need for that.
I got sales to make. He does good, Ken. If you're listening,
good job, Ken.
I just thought
lock the door.
I just thought it was funny because it was the one time he like actually locked the door.
Right, and now he got fucking stuck.
Also, how do you go to the bathroom and not lock the door?
Yeah, seriously.
It's just like acid reflux for me. Or not acid reflux, just what is that called? It's just, you know what I'm saying. It's fictional and original.
Isn't it the word, it's a reflex?
Yeah.
Pour some acid all over my body, please.
Oh, please fucking do.
I want to disintegrate.
Real quick.
What's up?
Oh, I told you this, but I didn't tell them this. So last night, it might have been the night before, but who's counting? I'm laying in my bed. My window is closed. My air conditioner is not on. And I'm laying in bed watching She's the Man, as one does.
I love that movie.
It's not what we're talking about. I need your attention. And as I'm sitting there, my cat is up on the cat tree, which is to the left of me. It's like her little lifeguard stand, making sure nobody's drowning in this bitch. And my closet door, which is wide open, closes. Like wide open, and it like it wasn't a slow start. It started, it looked kind of like my cat would
like
have
that.
rubbed against her. No, it wasn't. No, it was fast. It was like it didn't close all the way, but it like just shut. And I looked on the ground. I don't know what I was expecting to see, because the cat stopped. She was like licking her vagina, and she like stopped and like looked up with her leg like stretched out. So she was like, what the fuck was that? And I just ignored it. I think I texted you. I said, ew.
Sure did. And I said, ew, back.
So yeah, but that's it. That was like the first time I saw something like that happen.
Right. Which is weird.
Because every time like there's something with doors, I don't see it happen.
Yeah, it's like 3 floors up.
Yeah. Or that time when the kitchen cabinets were open.
Yeah, all of them.
No. There was the time with the vodka bottle, when the vodka bottle fell off.
Yeah, but you didn't see that either.
Yes, I did. Oh. Well, I heard it, but I know it happened because it was right fucking behind me.
That's true.
But like nothing has really happened like when I'm in the vicinity. But the door straight up closed right in front of me. You know what they say, when one door closes,
another one opens. Wait,
maybe the next door is a portal to hell.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Take me away.
Yesterday was National Daughters Day, and my fucking dad posted me on Facebook. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, oh, he probably posted some embarrassing pictures of you. No. He posted like Instagram-esque model pictures of me on his Facebook.
They were like your thoughty pictures, like
they
squatting.
Literally were. I am so embarrassed. I literally wanted to throw up.
Oh, daddy's daughter.
I'm like just so blown away.
I thought it was cute.
And everyone's commenting like, she's stunning. She looks just like you. And I'm like,
was dad flossing out on the streets for like a fucking 40? No offense.
I'm saying. And I was also like really skinnier in those pictures.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up. Hey guys. This is Esoteric Oddities.
If you forgot.
It's dysfunctional, but
functional at the same time.
Perfect. My beer's over there and I see it condensating and I want it in my body. Oh my God, you're such a good friend. For those of you who can't see, which is everyone. Not only did she just grab my beer, she just opened it for me. You're the best.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers. I love you. Clink. She doesn't have anything.
So on our way to Jonathan's house, he played, what was that song by Dolly Parton? That she made up the beat.
Oh, I didn't play
fucking
9 to 5.
Yes.
Yeah. No, if you listen to it, you can hear her acrylic nails at the beginning.
I cannot. That's funny as shit. Okay.
I know. I love Dolly. But hey guys, it's October and you know what that means.
Spooky stuff.
If you don't know what that means, this October we are doing scary stories, which means you guys have been sending us in scary stories.
And if you haven't, I suggest you do.
Yes, send them on into odditiespodcast@gmail.com and we will read them in one of our episodes. Also in October, every episode is going to have a new guest who's going to come on and tell their personal paranormal stories. Also, it's not just limited to paranormal. If you have a UFO story, if you have literally anything creepy or weird, send it our way.
But make it good.
So Sarah and I are each going to read 2 of your stories that you guys have sent us, and then we're going to bring on our guest.
So this first story was emailed to us by Kat in Seattle, Washington. Hey, Kat. I hope it's not raining too much this week. What the fuck is wrong with me? So Kat says, ever since I was a little kid, I've had night terrors, like really bad ones. Ones where I would be facing the wall of my room and I'd think I woke up because someone was watching me, but my sleep paralysis wouldn't let me look at the doorway to see what it was. Eventually the feeling would pass. I'd wake up and there wouldn't be anyone in my doorway, except for the rare occasion when my mom would pass my door at night. My room was in between her office and her bedroom, so sometimes, if she was working late, she would walk past me to go to bed. No one else in my house, mom or brother, was experiencing anything, so I just always chalked it up to me having nightmares, and that was that. That really wasn't all that odd for me. I used to sleepwalk and talk a lot, and nightmares were just that, nightmares. They came and went, and I usually forgot them by morning, but not the night terror. That always stuck with me. So for years and years, I would have this night terror on and off, never seeing what was watching me and never thinking it was anything beyond my own crazy brain. Fast forward to 2013, and I'm with my boyfriend and moving into a new apartment. And he knows I'm nervous, so he got a present, a little black kitten, the cutest little guy you've ever seen in your whole life. He was perfect, very chill and laid back, was never bothered by any other cats or dogs or the stream of people we had in and out, just a little cuddly buck. I was so relieved to have someone else in the house that wasn't my boyfriend's ancient blind and deaf fox terrier, someone who I could play with and pay attention to during the day. Around this time, I was not having the night terror anymore. I was still getting nightmares, but not the night terror. So now it's 2018. We have since moved into another apartment and still have the blind deaf dog, but we also still have my little black kitten, who is now a 20-pound cat, but he is still the same personality-wise, still chill and relaxed about everyone and thing. Then all of a sudden, I had the night terror again, which was weird because nothing was really different. We had been in this apartment for about 3 years, and I didn't listen to or watch anything scary beforehand. It just popped up out of the blue, but this time it was a little different. I could see her. She was kind of tall and skinny and all black and white like an old photo. She wore a formal suit, had a black, chin-length bob haircut, and her face was all fuzzy like 90s TV static. I was stunned. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. All I could do was watch, wide-eyed, while she looked in on us from the doorway. I told my boyfriend about it in the morning, but he didn't feel or hear anything, so I just wrote it off as being caused by the stresses of daily life, until last night. It happened again, where I would be in a deep sleep and feel my eyes are open and like I'm looking at her. My brain is trying to rationalize. It's saying you're not seeing anything. It's a figment of your imagination. And it was working until my cat looked up from his sleeping position, arched his back, and fluffed up and hissed. Remember, nothing phases this little guy, but he was so defensive. He saw her. He was trying to protect me. He sees her too. And that is the end.
That's it.
Of Cat's story.
Oh shit, Cat. I hope. Oh my god, it's funny. Her name is Cat.
Right.
She has a cat.
Right. I hope you have now. Well, it's still 2018.
Okay, so I feel like this is going to be the running suggestion. Not that we're professionals or you're even asking for our
Move,
suggestion.
girl.
I would say that. No, but it followed her to this new place.
Yeah, right.
Sage.
Oh yeah.
Would be
Sage
great. Sage it up. Well, fuck. The cat saw it too. The way you described it with the 90s
have a
TV
whole
static.
house cleanse, man.
No.
Cleanse your whole house. Cleanse your bed.
Oh no, that's like something in the distance that's just staring at you from a doorway.
It's crazy because you think like having other people there makes you feel safe, but think how unsafe you feel when you're the only one experiencing what's going on. It doesn't make you feel safe anymore.
I read a thing and it was like, you're not scared to be alone in the dark. You're scared that you're not alone in the dark.
Literally.
Too
Wow.
scary.
I hope she doesn't hear that, because
Oh, I'm sorry.
that would literally make me piss my pants.
She's literally listening right now. Hey,
right.
Cat.
Hey, Cat.
Wow. Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had like intense night terrors. I don't really know where the line is drawn between like a nightmare and like a really bad nightmare and a night terror.
Yeah, same. I feel like, am I like a boring person?
Oh, okay. Wait. Yeah, you didn't say what you have. I know something they don't know, but like tell them about your nightmares.
Oh, I don't experience nightmares. And like this has been something like I've researched things, and it says that like, you know, kids and teens, they experience it from like until 16. And then like,
what? Is that like a thing?
Yeah. And then
I still experience nightmares.
Well, they say adults have them like 2 to 3 times a year.
That's true. I don't have them very often.
But I don't have them at all. I think it's because I smoke a lot of weed. Also, I'm like living in a fucking nightmare. My life is a nightmare, so I don't have to do it when I dream. It's fine. It's so great.
Your life is not a nightmare.
It really is, okay? When one thing happens to me, 5 other things follow.
Yeah, it does. It does seem like that sometimes.
And it's okay, because I know it happens to everybody, and I know it's just like the normal.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, honestly, you're lucky you don't have nightmares, because that shit's scary.
Well, I just feel like I don't even dream.
Yeah, a lot of the times I can't really remember. Like, I know I dream, but I can't really remember.
I don't even know that I dream. I'm like in such a deep sleep. I'm like comatose.
used to have lucid dreams, and I didn't know that it was when I was little. Like I would lucid dream almost every single night. I like
What?
knew it. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't know lucid dreaming was a thing, but I knew that I was dreaming, and I knew I could
What's
control
the
it.
definition?
Is like when you're in a dream like state, you are aware that you're dreaming, and you are aware that you're capable of like the imaginary realm that's around you, so you can control your dreams.
So like Kiko was saying, I think she started lucid dreaming. She said that she could control her dreams. Like
Well,
she knew she was in a dream.
Yeah, but that's not lucid dreaming exactly. That's like
Just dreaming.
that's like the Inception thing where she was waking up from a dream within a dream.
Oh, okay.
But like lucid dreaming is just like you are like, hey, I can do whatever the fuck I want. So there's actually you can train. Okay,
I see.
You can train yourself to lucid dream, which I've done, but it's really hard. You have to do it while you're conscious. It's like
Jonathan has a very complex mind.
Thank you. I thought you were gonna say fucked up. Most would.
It's a good thing.
Oh, thank you. But if you touch each one of your fingers to your thumbs. Like you do it one way. You count like 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to do it like every couple of hours, and you have to check clocks because like when you're in. And by the way, I'm not a fucking professional on this shit, obviously, but like that's just what I was following YouTube tutorials, which basically I'm a professional.
Yeah, duh. Follow YouTube tutorial and like you have a degree.
It's true. Literally these days, but you would look at the clock because then when you're in a dream and you look at a clock, supposedly when you look away and then you look back at the clock, it's a different time, and that's how you notice that you're fucking dreaming. I don't know. Does anyone care?
Oh, I see what you... Okay, that makes sense.
We're supposed to be talking about scary stories.
This is scary. Dreaming is fucking scary.
Honestly, consciousness is a lot more scary. So
that
here
is true.
Is a story from Chandler, who is from Southern Illinois. So Chandler writes... I had some weird things happen to me when I was younger. I'm 19 now, but I think about these strange things that happened. They are short happenings, and each only happened once, but they stuck with me. I think I was around 10 or 11 when the first one happened. I had woken up one night out of a dead sleep with a feeling that someone or something was watching me. I looked at my doorway, since I used to sleep with my door open, and I saw a black silhouette around 7 feet tall with red glowing eyes. It didn't move, it was just standing there, looking at me. A few months later, I was sleeping in the basement of the house because that's where the TV I used to watch movies was. I had woken up and was laying there and saw a man standing in front of me in a gray Civil War uniform. I didn't see the face because I was too scared to move, but again, it just stood there. I didn't feel any hostility coming from it, so I just went back to sleep. Before we moved from that house, I would always see figures out of the corner of my eyes just disappearing around the corner right when I turned to look at them. After we moved, I didn't experience anything for a few years until the whispering started. My family had always lived in the country, so I had always contributed the strange happenings to that. The whispering had started around the time where I started to realize how stressful life can be. I could have been around age 14 at this time. I couldn't make out anything the voices were saying, but they were pretty creepy. But I mean, how would you feel about hearing whispering behind you while you're trying to sleep? We moved out of that house a few years later to a different town. The last time I experienced anything was last year. It was right before my birthday, around the month of August, early in the month. 2 of my friends and I were driving around to different graveyards to see if we could find any ghosts or spirits, or whatever you want to call them. Very dumb of us, I know, but we had always had an interest in the paranormal and wanted to see something. We ended up in a graveyard in the next town over where one of my friends used to live. I will call them A and B. We walked around for a minute with all of us feeling very uneasy and had the feeling that something didn't want us to be there. We had stopped by a big tree to talk about what was going on when A got tapped on the shoulder. He took off running and didn't tell us about it until later when we got in the car. So we decided to get a drink. We went to go pay when A realized his wallet had fallen out of his pocket in the graveyard when he took off running. So B and I decided we would go back and get it for him. As we were walking around, we ended up by a tree, but we couldn't find it. All of a sudden, we heard someone running up to us really fast from behind. B turned around, but no one was there. We left before something bad happened, but we didn't get the wallet. A had to go back the next day to get it. I'm sorry this is all over the place and not a well-structured story, but I needed to get it out there. Well, that's creepy.
I just feel like Chandler, man, Venmo. Your friend could have Venmo'd you. You didn't have to go back for the wallet. Like,
Yeah, but he had his card and stuff in there.
I know, but it's just like spooky cemetery.
I had actually, so I was doing a Ouija board in a cemetery, and I had stolen my brother's Flyers lighter to light the candles, and this was back when
You did not go back for the fucking lighter.
I sure did.
Oh my god.
It started
spooky
raining.
Bitch.
I went back by myself too.
No.
Everyone ran to the car, and I ran back to the graveyard by myself. Well, Chandler, y'all got balls for going back there.
Why don't I have any ghost stories?
I don't know. I know what it's like to have something in the corner of your eye.
Same.
And to like, that shit psychs me out because I'm like, did I see something? Because I feel like I'm going crazy.
Well, then I do have a ghost story.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Oh. So it was the night someone in my family passed away. I forget who. But I was laying in my bed and my room was like, it was the middle room and then I had a hallway. So at this point my bed was like up against the wall and it was like in the middle of the room. So like I could see on either side. It wasn't like it was pushed against the wall.
Right.
I see like this dark shadow like swoop around my room and just disappear.
You've never told me that story.
Because I thought it was like, oh, maybe I'm seeing shit.
Yeah, but it was the night that someone passed away. Was it before you knew that they passed away?
I knew they passed away.
Okay. Well, it could have been that family member just coming and giving one last swoop.
I went in my mom's room. Did I ever tell you what I did the first time I watched the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah. Well, that's because you were like in the woods.
I went home and I slept with my mom, and even sleeping with my mom, my heart was pounding. I was sweating bullets.
Yeah,
I don't know why that movie scared me so much.
It was a scary fucking movie. It was a big deal back then.
Oh my god,
I mean, it's still a big deal.
Freaked out.
I was thinking about watching that today.
Oh, do it.
Well, Chandler, thanks for sharing your story with us.
Thanks, Chandler.
All I can say is that I hope that stuff settles down. And I think that that's really interesting that your story and my story were similar in the fact that literally they both woke up and someone was staring at them 7 foot tall from the fucking corner of the room.
Right.
And then the cat's, the ghost that was visiting Kat had like short hair and like a suit. And this guy had a Civil War suit. Scary.
That is really scary.
All right. Let's read another one of those scary stories. I love this. I love like spooky ghost stories.
Spooky. I know you literally stay up reading them.
Yeah, because you know what it is. It's the only thing that makes me feel alive. Is if it's the only emotion I feel is when I'm
like
scared. Okay. That's why I like to feel fucking terrified.
I feel a lot of emotions like failure and self-hatred and things like that.
Well, this is just the spookiest episode of all.
Oh, you gotta laugh. Make it into a joke. Okay. This story is coming from Reddit user Modern Forever. So Modern Forever says, I recently read a ghost story about a person who was being haunted by their friend after not attending their funeral. I have decided to share a similar story here. When I was having an odd day, somehow feeling like something was wrong, my mom's friend had passed away. It was said that she died of hanging herself after suicidal thoughts got the best of her. Since I had a high bond with her, I was highly saddened by the news I heard. I made a choice not to go to her funeral because of the fact that it would just be way more depressing for me and add way more upon my sadness. My mother accepted the fact that I wouldn't go, and she let me know that it was okay and she wasn't mad. Little did I know is that I have made a terrible choice. One night, I decided to just look into the mirror and tell myself it's okay because I began to regret not going to her funeral. I closed my eyes in front of the mirror and remembered the bonding memories between me and Mariana. Yes, that's her name, Mariana. As I explored our memories, I had a feeling of high anxiety and decided to open my eyes. As soon as I opened my eyes, I noticed a dark figure quickly run away from the wide open door of the bathroom. I was absolutely terrified and began to panic because I couldn't call anyone on my phone because my parents forgot to pay my line and everyone at home was somewhere else, which made me home alone, and the fact that my line hasn't made its payment yet means that I can no longer send out texts or calls. I heard a drip and looked back at the sink. I looked into the sink and then began staring into the dark gap from the sink drain. I saw an eye immediately open wide. I looked back and wanted to run out as soon as possible, but that dark figure might kill me. But then again, I would die either way because there was literally someone, somehow, in the sink drain. I decided to just run out of the bathroom and jump into my bed, terrified. I covered myself with the blanket and drifted myself into darkness. Nothing could explain the terror I felt in that moment. I heard my closet door open. Since it was a slider door for my closet, it sounded like wood being dragged on the carpet floor. I decided to suck it up and just take a peek. I really regret making that choice. I saw a dark figure standing near the closet. I then realized that figure was Mariana. I was in absolute shock. I couldn't even move or scream. Mariana's dark figure began to walk towards me slowly. At the same time, her figure making a croaking sound. It sounded the exact same as the Grudge. As soon as Mariana was able to stand close to me, she began to strain her arm out to be able to touch me. I then woke up in a hospital bed panicking. I screamed for help for any hospital staff that would help me. A nurse ran up to me and asked me what the problem was. I asked why am I here and began speed talking, and the nurse told me to calm down. The nurse was female and her card name showed her picture and her name below. I shall not release the name of the nurse, as the nurse may not find it appropriate if she finds the story and see that I exposed her name here. Anyways, she explained that I was found by my parents having a seizure in my own bed. But it was so hard to believe that. I told her exactly what happened in my experience, but it seemed as if she didn't believe me. She just pretended to believe me. I'm currently at home right now. I left the hospital after my parents picked me up. I left the hospital about 2 days before I made the choice to show the story to the public. No one believes me, but the only thing I learned about this experience upon why Mariana was making the croaking sound. Most likely it's because during her hanging suicide, she must have broke her neck with the tightrope. I shall notify you all just in case if I have any similar occurrences like this. I'm still horrified and I'm going to find myself a psychologist.
That was intense.
Yeah.
I would suggest gonna go find yourself someone to talk to.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that was a lot. Imagine looking down a fucking drain and seeing an eyeball.
And then like hearing your closet door open and then seeing this dark figure and then that noise. I want to die.
It's a lot. Well, if anything happens, please follow up.
Let us know.
We would like to hear. Yeah, also I would definitely go talk to someone.
Yeah.
All due respect.
Oh.
All right. Wowzers.
I think I always bring you the like
the doozies.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is coming from Ellie, who's listening all the way from Scotland. Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Ellie.
She also kindly told me how her name is pronounced because it's spelled like L, but she said it's like Ellie. So, Hey, Ellie. So she says, so we moved rooms a lot in this house. We have 3 bedrooms, and the one I'm in right now never felt right. But since about 2015 or 2016 onward, it's been getting gradually worse. At first, it was just the shivers and cold spots in my room. In a corner of my room, I have a few bookshelves. Unfortunately, my granny passed away in 2015, so I keep a photo of her on the bookshelf. It was the first anniversary of her death, and I was feeling pretty down about it, as you can imagine. I was sitting on my bed and just kind of glanced to the side to see all my books had fallen to one side and the picture of my grandma was just sitting there. I didn't think much of it at the time, as it was one of the first possibly paranormal things that happened to me. The next time something happened was at night. I was in my bed trying to sleep, and I was finding it difficult. It just didn't feel right. I was just beginning to drift off, and the next minute I was wide awake, full of fear. Usually I'm not scared. I love horror movies and creepy stories on YouTube, but this night I was really paralyzed with fear for no reason. I finally built up the courage to turn my lamp on, and my head shot straight to the same corner where my bookshelves were. After that, I kept having the urge to look over there as I could still feel the fear lingering. I had to sleep with the light on that night. Again, I didn't think anything of it, but I was beginning to have my suspicions. I'm not a non-believer of the paranormal. I have always been a believer, I just never thought anything would happen to me. Okay, So last Christmas, my brother got me an Amazon Alexa. Of course, I loved it, and I plugged it in immediately and played with it. The beginning of this year, I began hating Alexa. It was about maybe midnight or 1-ish at night. I was sitting on my laptop. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the familiar blue light of Alexa, and then the loud voice fills my room. Do you think we should wake them up? Wake up. Obviously, I was shit scared and ran over to stop it immediately. After doing some investigating, I found out it's the Top Gear alarm, which at the time I didn't know existed. From the start, I always assumed my brother was doing everything with my Alexa to scare me, so I pushed it to the back of my mind and decided to go to sleep. The next time was about 5 o'clock in the morning. The alarm blasted off, waking me up with a fright. This time I was angry because I assumed it was my brother, so I stormed into his room and started shouting at him, realizing halfway through my rant that he had been sleeping and I had just woke him. He claimed it wasn't him, and we walked into the hallway. Alexa, once again, decided to pipe in, and that alarm blared again. This time, my brother was there to witness, and seeing the fear on his face convinced me that it wasn't him. So we decided to stay in the living room and ended up not sleeping that night. Since then, Alexa has had her moments with her random inputs. However, having to deal with her and the random feelings of fear of being watched, you begin to get used to it. The weirdest and most recent was at night again. I was in my bed, and because I live in Scotland, it's usually cold, so I have a winter duvet, but sometimes it can get a bit hot too. One night, it was way too hot for me, so I made the stupid decision to stick my foot out of the cover as I was falling asleep. I felt a jolt in my foot like someone's finger had just ran down it, and honestly, I don't think I've ever moved so fast in my life. I sat up and checked the end of my bed. I have a lot of cats, so I thought it could have been one of them. But it was nothing, so the lamp was kept on that night too. Still to this day, we haven't figured out what's been causing this, or if it's paranormal. We've had a few Ouija boards in the house, but not much has happened, so I never thought of it being that. Any suggestions of what you think it might be would be much appreciated so I can get some peace in my bedroom. Well, Ellie,
What do you think it is?
shit.
I literally hate Alexa. I've heard so many horror stories about Alexa.
Yeah, but come through with that Amazon sponsor, Alexa. No, honestly,
I don't want that.
that shit's scary. That mixed in with the weird things and having weird feelings.
Hear it. Should we wake them up? Wake up. I hear it. I hear it, and I just don't. And then you telling that story, I didn't want to be under this fucking table anymore.
I know, you were freaking out low.
I didn't want anything to be under here.
Well, Ellie, shit, she's asking for our advice. Not a professional. I'm going to say sage.
Shut up. I'm going to say that you should unplug the Alexa, and I think if it's really a ghost, it'll still happen if it's unplugged.
Ooh, that's some scary shit. Honestly,
then burn it.
Honestly, if you sage, if there's any bad vibes in there, if you sage and you banish whatever it is, verbally say out loud that they are not welcome there, hopefully you won't have any issues after that. I don't know what it is, but hopefully that was a cat's tail that touched you.
Yeah, legit, and they just disappeared.
That's a fucking fear. Just
that is.
having your feet hang up, even though my feet literally are always hanging off the bed.
You're so fucking
I'm
tall.
so fucking tall. You should see me in Sarah's bed. It's like a joke.
My bed now.
Maybe not your bed now, but I used to
That
literally
other
have to
one.
put my feet through the slots in your goddamn bed frame. I would get yourself some sage and pray the rosary.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We don't do that here. Corinthians 4:20.
Sorry.
Well, fuck. I can only say we're probably not much help, Ellie, but
Yes,
thanks.
we are. We're here for support.
Yes.
You can always email us at odditiespodcast@gmail.com.
She knows our email.
Well, it's there again. I want her to feel supported.
Yeah, send us an update. Let us know if anything else happens. But we're hoping not.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want you to feel stressed out.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening all the way from Scotland.
Thanks.
Well, do you think it's time that we bring on our guest?
Yes.
So many of you may know our guest. She
I'm so excited.
is one of a trio who have their own podcast called True Crime Girls.
Yes.
So we would like to bring on Janine. we are here with Janine from True Crime Girls. Hi, Janine.
Hey, guys.
I'm so excited. This is unreal.
How are you doing today?
I didn't have the greatest day, but I knew I was going to come home and record with you guys. So
now it's the best day
super
ever.
fucking
Best
stoked.
day ever,
Yeah.
literally.
Okay, so before we jump into it, I mean, I feel like a lot of our listeners are kind of in the same group. So,
Oh yeah, definitely.
But for those who
on the
don't,
same platform.
who don't listen to you, why don't you talk a little bit about True Crime Girls or about you and your interests and like what you guys do?
So True Crime Girls is a podcast that is almost a year old. Will be 1 year in October. We're just 3 girls who talk about true crime, anything. So we have our seasons are like different topics that we'll select, and we'll each do a story on that topic. And then throughout the season, we'll each pick like an episode or like a topic to do. So this last season, we did our favorite serial killers. So we each covered that. And then the previous season, we each did a cult. So we kind of do whatever topic interests us, and then we pick our own random stories, and we put it out for the world to enjoy.
It's so funny because one time my general manager asked me what my podcast was about, and he was like, "Oh, is it like fashion and makeup?" I was like, "No, it's murder." And he was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like, he's a pretty awkward guy to begin with, so it was just kind of like,
to the awkward.
right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to like approach it from somebody that's like, "Oh, your podcast, cool. What is that?" What do you
Exactly.
talk about? Murder, the worst types.
Right, exactly. The ones that like people are literally like fearful of.
Yeah.
That's what I talk about.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's very trendy and it's very popular for
It
people
is.
to be into true crime right now, which is kind of weird because I feel like we did and you guys kind of jumped on it before it got really, really big, which I want to
Yeah.
say is this past like summer.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like we both go about it in a way that's not like, yeah, serial killers,
Yeah.
like, kill, you know what I mean? So again, it's kind of hard to explain to people, especially people who aren't into it. However,
True.
there was one time I was on a business trip and I was in like Baltimore.
No,
I don't
not
know where I was.
Avalon.
I was somewhere and I was out to dinner with these fancy people and I was telling them like what the podcast was about. And at the time we had just started and it was so awkward to tell them because I just wanted to stick to, I was like paranormal things and
Yeah.
like sometimes true crime. They're like, true crime, like what? I was like, oh, like, you ever heard of Jean Benet? But
Jonathan loves John Benet Ramsey case. He's
Listen.
upset.
But the
But,
brother did it, so.
But
Right.
so I'm staying at one of their they had a beach house that they like were letting some of us who were working stay at.
They're real fancy.
And I go onto their Netflix and it's all true crime shit. I was like,
Love.
okay, so you're low key like under the
Into
table
it.
Yeah.
into true crime shit.
I
Love it.
always mention to people that it's not safe for work.
Yeah.
We are
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
also
not
I feel
even like
not-
just the subject matter, but like we're saying fuck like every other
Yeah.
fucking sentence. so.
Exactly.
every other fucking shit.
Egg fucking exactly.
Yeah.
But I also feel like nobody really I feel like nobody fucking listens to this shit at work without headphones on. Like, why do you need to know it's not
I
safe for work?
really
Maybe don't
hope
show your
not.
boss this.
Yeah.
Or do. I don't
I
give
don't know.
a
I
hoot.
feel like people at my job are always like with their laptops out, like listening to stuff out loud if we don't have clients in that day. So I'm always like, it's not safe for work.
Okay,
Yeah,
good
just
call.
let you
Good
know.
call.
Like, don't even try it, guys.
Yeah, just don't try it. Don't try it at home. Well, at work.
Just not out loud. Don't let other people hear what you're listening to.
Yeah,
Alright.
I also hate hearing my voice.
I
lot.
do too,
Same.
but I've gotten used to it. I think there's like a little bit of narcissist in me.
Oh, I love that.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't have narcissist in me, but I did last night. Hey yo.
Oh, okay.
All right. So as we promised you guys, we've got some ghost stories. Well, we don't have any more ghost stories, but
Janine has ghost stories.
has got a little ghost story. Now, if you guys listen to her podcast, she actually talked about this on your road trip.
Yeah. Our road trip
Episode,
episode.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's a weird one. So take us there.
It's really weird. So I don't remember how old I was. I'm assuming maybe I was like 13, 14 years old. And we were driving out to the desert to go dirt bike riding. And we were like in an SUV. So my dad's friend was driving. My dad was in the passenger seat. I was sitting behind the driver, and the driver's niece was sitting behind the passenger seat. So it was pretty late. I think it was like between 10:30 and 11. And the road that we were on was just like a 2-lane highway going one way, a huge dirt like separating thing, and then 2 lanes going in the opposite direction. So where we were going, we were on the first, I guess you would call it like the first lane, because we were hauling a trailer. So we couldn't go too fast. So we're coming up to this car that's in front of us, and it was a gray Astro van. And I guess it was going like really, really slow, like slower than what might be like normal at that time on a 2-lane highway with no lights or anything. And me and the girl in the back, that we were asleep. So I hear my dad and his friend, like, you know, the regular road rage, like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? So they end up pulling around that Astro van. So now we're in the second lane. And as we're like passing up the van, we all look to the right, like you normally do, like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is driving this? Right. So we look over and the lady is like gripping the fucking steering wheel like for her dear life. And I asked my dad about this after we talked about it on the episode. I'm like, do you remember like what she looked like? And he's like, not really. Like, she was a brunette. I'm like, would you be able to pick her out in a crowd? And he's like, no. And I was like, I would. Like, if I saw her in a fucking crowd, no. I would run.
Did she so she looked like terrifying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, was she terrifying or she looked scared?
No, she looked scared. Like, she was like as if she was going super, super fast, but she really wasn't. So she was really just slow. Like staring straight ahead. She was terrified, gripping that steering wheel. So we passed her up, whatever. So I'm not good with distance, but let's say 3 cars in front of her, there's a semi. So we pass her, we pass the semi, and we're going to get back into that first lane because we can't really go that fast. And once we pass the semi, that same fucking Astro van is in front of the semi.
Oh my God, go away. It's
only 2 lanes. After, like, to the right of that first lane, it's just dirt. It's in the dark night. There's no way homegirl is gonna be like
so
off-roading.
How the fuck did she get up there?
Exactly.
No.
So as we pass the semi and we see her again, they're like, what the fuck? There's no way. And we're all freaking out, and it's the same fucking lady. And the back of the Astro van, it was like filled to the top because it had like the windows and like the back doors, so you can kind of see everything like filled to the top. We pass up that truck, we come up to the Astro van again, and it's the same fucking lady, same terrified look, everything.
She had a beach ball, right? There was
She had a fucking beach ball in there. And now when I do see Astro vans, whether it's from the rear or the side or whatever, I freak the fuck out. And I'm like, God, if there's a fucking beach ball in that car.
If I see this lady,
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
I'm losing it.
So we freak out, and we get in front of her. And a few miles up is like the little town. It's called Brawley. And there's like gas stations and restaurants and stuff. And then once you pass that town, you kind of get to the desert where we were headed. So we stop at that first gas station. They do whatever they're doing. We chill there for a while. I don't know, maybe like 15, 20 minutes. I don't know how fucking long. We see a bunch of cars pass by. That semi passed us up. They went through the town, and that Astro van never went through. And there were no turnoffs. There was no stops. There was no like little side streets or anything for her to have gone down. And I think like, okay, what if something happened? What if she got a flat tire? What if she had to pull over for whatever reason? I personally wouldn't unless I absolutely had to. And I can bet my bottom dollar that I don't think she would have stopped unless it was like an absolute emergency. and she never passed up. She never went through the town. We never saw her come out of that highway. And oh my God, I still get fucking goosebumps thinking about it.
Well, like, there's also that weird occurrence that you would pass her out and then she would somehow be in front of you.
Exactly.
Ooh,
And there's no way.
Like, that's so
for her.
eerie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like what separates this from so many other stories was that you're like on a highway.
Exactly.
And it honestly, it reminds me of Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Did you see it literally, like the bus driver Marge, I think her name is.
Yeah,
and
Large
like,
Marge.
that used to fucking scare the shit out of me. And that's like what I see in my head is like driving this thing down the fucking, that's
Yeah, and like there's
scary.
a part in when they're showing her profile and she's like gripping that steering wheel and she knows exactly where she's fucking going and she has that look in her eye, and that's what that lady looked like. She was younger, I would say like late 30s, early 40s. She was thin, had her hair in like a low ponytail or whatever. But that's what she looked like. Like she was determined to get wherever she was at 10 miles an hour. Like she was in a rush,
so
but
glad
so
that you
slow.
I'm so glad
And
you
somehow,
got that.
like, getting in front of you every time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy and bizarre to me.
Yeah, there was absolutely no way that she was all of a sudden going to speed up on, like, go off-roading, speed up around the semi just to, like, for us to see her again. It was just
way.
beyond bizarre.
Okay, I'm glad you have witnesses, and I'm sure you're glad that like you had people in the car too.
Yeah. And I think Eileen started like looking up to see if anybody else had seen her like on the highway, and we couldn't really find any stories.
Great to see if it's like an urban legend that you were literally
Oh my
in the
God,
fucking
yeah,
middle
for
of.
real.
Yeah, because you know sometimes when there's like haunted highways, it's like well known, like, oh, we see this lady or we see this person late at night, and we really couldn't like find anything. So who knows, but shit like that happens all the time. You know, they die and they are trying to get to where they were going essentially.
Right.
So that energy and whatever like kind of stays there. But fuck, man, that's like my favorite and least favorite story to tell because I feel like I can't breathe when I'm telling it. Like
yeah,
I get
you were,
so
like, lived
nervous.
it.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
But that's like the closest, personally closest thing that has ever happened to me as far as like ghost stories or any paranormal anything.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's just like a head scratcher. It's just like, what?
Yeah. And we
Whoa,
still,
whoa,
there's
what?
no way.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's very bizarre. Love that story though.
I know Eileen was like, can you tell, your story? It'll be like an intro. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. So I tell my story and she's like, perfect. That's part of my story. So she like goes on.
No.
I'm like, you bitch, you just used
Right.
me.
Oh.
For once, Sarah's
once,
super loud.
I'm super loud. He's always like, talking to your mic. I just want to let you know that I just wrote out a text and I spelt my own name wrong. So
Okay, side note.
that's where
good
I
to
am.
know.
It's Wednesday. It's a hard day to get through.
I spelled my name Sarah.
I
Who's
hate
that? Don't know.
Ooh, so that's creepy. So
Okay.
a little birdie on the street told me that you've got some stories from your father.
Yes. So my dad is the youngest of 11, and
Holy
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would love that. 11
yeah,
siblings.
11 kids,
I feel like you'd always have friends.
Oh
or
my- can
enemies.
you- okay.
Yeah.
That's
or enemies.
true.
True. Okay, so do you have a lot of cousins now?
Yeah. I mean, we're Mexican as
amazing.
fuck. So yeah, we have a ton of uncles and aunts. We have a ton of cousins. We have a ton of quote unquote cousins that are just been around the family for too long. You don't really
Right.
know, but
That's so funny.
you call them cousins. So I asked him very briefly. I'm like, so when this happened, was everybody like in the house? Because I think there's a pretty big gap between him and like the oldest sibling. So he said when all this stuff was happening, I would say like maybe 10 of the 11 kids were in the house, like they were living there. So there were always
Wow.
witnesses. So everybody will tell you like the same story. There was always like somebody with them when shit was going down.
Okay, so where were they living at this time?
They were living in East LA on First
Okay.
Street. And they actually lived right across the street from Evergreen Cemetery,
Okay.
like right across the street. So
Wow.
Eileen was saying, because we were talking about it last weekend, that the house that they grew up in, it's pretty small, but I don't know if you've ever heard this, but if the front doorway and the back doorway line up, it's like a bad omen. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, wow. I've never
heard of that.
Isn't that how your house is?
No.
Oh.
You tried it, bitch.
I did.
Sit down.
I did. I reached. I am sitting, though, so try again.
So this house had 5 doorways all lined up.
Oh, no. So that's like 5 times.
Yeah.
Good math,
thing.
So they had that going for it. And then I'll send you guys like a photo or whatever if you want to reference it, or just so you have an idea. So
we love a good photo.
From the front of the house, there's an attic, and there's a window on the front of the house that you can like basically see the attic from. So Eileen was saying, I guess whoever lived there before, whatever, there was a little boy that was playing in the attic, and he had his he was playing up against the window, and he like fell out of the window and died. So a lot of the stories that my dad and his siblings would tell would be of like a little boy. So they would always see somebody sitting like on the stairs going up to the attic. And because there were so many kids, they always thought it was like the other brother or the other sister.
Oh my God,
so
it was like that transparent to
right.
see.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
no.
like, so my dad was telling me one time he was sitting at the kitchen table, and he saw somebody come down the stairs, stop halfway, and sit down. And my dad and Eileen's dad are brothers. So he thought it was Eileen's dad. So he was like talking shit to him and, saying all this stuff, and there was no reply. So he's like, hey, don't you hear me? And nothing. So he got up and walked over to the stairs, and there was nobody there.
No.
Yeah. And I think Eileen's dad ended up like coming around, at a later time. And he's like, dude, why didn't you fucking talk back to me when I was talking to you on the stairs? He's like, I was not on the stairs.
Wow, gotta go.
I can't. Abort mission. I'm out at that point.
So one of my favorite stories, and I think Jonathan might have had something similar happen, or maybe I heard somebody else talk about it. My dad, one of his sisters, and maybe 2 other brothers were upstairs in the attic playing. Eileen said somebody told her they were playing with the Ouija board. We double checked with my dad. My dad said he thought he was playing Monopoly.
As we're
That's
recording
literally such a different end of a spectrum.
as we're recording this, there's a Ouija board like right underneath where
It's gonna start levitating.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, bitch, it was a Ouija board.
Right.
So they were upstairs playing some fucking board game, and they all heard all the dishes crash in the kitchen. So the houses in East LA, they're pretty close together. So they all ran downstairs, and there was nothing. There was no dishes on the floor. There was not one dish out of place. And they were like, well, what the fuck? We all fucking heard it. So they asked the neighbors, hey, did you guys throw something? Did you drop something? No. And they all heard it inside the house, and there was nothing there.
Okay, yeah. I did have something similar happen where I was in my powder room. Well, it's not even a powder room. It's a full bathroom upstairs, which is in my kitchen. And yeah, I was like doing dishes because our dishwasher was broken. And I heard, I literally don't even know how to explain it. It just sounded like something heavy in a big old like Tupperware container, like smash on the ground in my kitchen. And then I came out and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Just like that sound. That did you hear that? Please tell me you just heard that.
God.
Did you just hear that?
That
I
wasn't
hate
you
this.
guys?
No.
I know
here.
it was something that is upstairs. Listen,
Is
everybody.
there somebody home?
There's a couple people home. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm just going to think that they just dropped their head on the floor. Like they
Yeah,
just
let's
fell.
say
Yeah,
that.
just their head.
Yeah, that
Just
timing is
Cut
impeccable.
it off real quick.
Even though it's up on the 3rd floor, but
Oh my
the timing is impeccable.
And it sounded like
Oh,
it was right
fuck.
there.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really
that's the
sounds like it,
problem.
doesn't it? We were just recording a bonus episode and Sarah saw some shit.
Oh my God, I saw some shit out the window.
Anyway, let's talk about more haunted shit because I don't feel like sleeping tonight. Why not?
Oh
I'm
my
sorry
God.
for you.
What else do I have? Oh, I'll give you one last story, and then I'll give you a weird coincidence. So, I think it was my dad and one other brother. They were, again, up in the attic. And at the bottom of the stairs, there was like a coat closet, I guess. Just, throw random shit in there. And this was, in the fucking 70s, I guess, 70s and 80s. And they had all wire hangers. So they heard like all the wire hangers like kind of moving or like thrashing against each other. So they were like, what the fuck? So they went down to the closet and nothing was moving. Like all the clothes that were there. Nothing had fallen. They ran down fast enough to where they would see if the hangers were still moving, and they weren't.
I can't.
That's creepy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did your dad ever say, like, was it like a negative energy or was it just kind of there?
No, it was just there. Like just things were just happening. And I've never heard any of them say that it was anything like evil or malicious or anything really trying to hurt them. It was just kind of little occurrences like here and there, which I guess is probably the most common. You don't really hear about everybody getting fucking possessed. But yeah, it was just like little things here and there. And there's so many fucking kids that there was always like a witness. So it wasn't just one person saying, oh my God, I heard this. And, everybody calling them out on their bullshit. There was always somebody there also like experiencing the same thing.
Oh my God.
Well, I guess in a way that's good.
Right.
But just the sound of like wire hangers.
I
moving
know.
around.
I'm like, I pictured it like as soon as she said
I hate it.
The best part is that when we hang up, I'm home alone. My son's not home today.
Amazing.
So I'm putting Queer Eye on. I'm leaving all the lights on. I'm
Leave those lights on.
not today, Satan.
Ever.
So once everybody grew up, they fucking moved out. They ended up moving to another house in LA, just like a different part of LA. And it's like this beautiful old Victorian home, really gorgeous, 3 floors. They had a lot of remodeling to do. So the house, the way it was built, it was 3 floors, but they were all kind of like isolated. So you can only get to the 2nd floor from the stairs that were on the outside of the house. So when they started the remodeling, they gutted like part of the 2nd floor so that there was like stairs so you can go like all the way up between, all the levels or whatever.
Right.
So there were the 3 floors. Top one was an attic that was big enough to build basically like an apartment out of. And one of my uncles, who was the one working on the house, he was living up there. So he built it just so it was like comfortable enough for him to live in. So my dad's mom, was it her? Yeah. My dad's mom was home one day. It was like in the morning time. I think it was like a Sunday or whatever. She saw my uncle walk in the door with his briefcase and his head down. She saw him walk in the door, close the door, walk up the stairs and go to his room and close the door and lock it. And I think she called out to him. I don't quite remember. But at any rate, there was no interaction. She just saw him go up to the room, close the door. Okay. So then he walked in like 20 minutes later.
No,
Bitch.
doppelganger. Jonathan loves
Gotta go. No.
And she's like, where did you go?
Right.
And he's like, I've been and gone all day. What do you mean? She's like, no, you just walked in and you went upstairs. And he's like, no. She's like, yes, I just saw you walk in the door with your briefcase. You went upstairs and you locked the door.
Stop.
And he was like, no, I didn't. So he went upstairs and the room to his door cannot be locked from, it can't be locked from one way or another. I fucking forget. But he never locks the door because then you can't get in. There's no like key. You have to go like through the bathroom.
Right.
And his door was locked.
Oh no, but he wasn't in there because he was never home because it was a fucking
doppelganger.
He never locks his door. Nobody else would have locked the door. And when he went up there, the door was locked. Completely different house, not in front of a cemetery.
And was he not fucking around? Like is he not the type that would fuck around? Because
not at all.
Even if he was fucking around, he would have to shimmy out of a window and like
There would have to be a reason why his door was still locked. Either way.
He is a like 100% bullshit free kind of guy. Like he has
Oh my
no
God.
fucking time for bullshit, jokes, pranks, nothing. Like he's like a super serious dude.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
no.
really scary.
Ooh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
Right.
I fucking live for
So,
shit like that.
Do you think, or does your dad think that they were followed to the house, or it's just a different?
That's what we were talking
Entity.
about. So I was like, do you think that whatever was at the First Street house follows you guys to this other house? Do you think it's a specific person that they're following? He goes, no, they're just old fucking houses.
That's true.
Like,
But,
there
like,
could be
that's-
anything. And I don't think that in this new house, well, they've been in there forever now, but in this new house that they're in, I don't think they've seen the boy. I think it's just been like different things here and there, but I don't remember ever hearing a story about the same like boyish figure that was at the First Street house.
Ooh,
That's
Yeah.
so creepy.
that's
I want to
weird.
live in an old haunted house.
No, you don't. You want to fucking move in?
No, I'm good.
And
okay.
the house that I'm in, I don't think it's that old. I've never experienced anything. Knock
Yeah,
on
you better
wood.
knock on
Right.
that damn
Knock on
door.
that shit.
I've never experienced anything, but other people have.
Really?
Yeah. So in our last 2 episodes, I think Eileen felt somebody tap her, and then she
Yep, I
saw
heard that
somebody.
one.
Yeah, she felt somebody tap her. Kylie's felt somebody brush up against her leg, or something brush up against her leg. And I don't have pets. And then again, that same day that somebody tapped Eileen, she saw somebody in my kitchen, and there was nobody home other than us.
Oh no, that shit better be Emeril Lagasse chefing it the fuck up for y'all.
Bam! Isn't that what he says?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah.
You shouting it in my damn ear.
I'm sorry. You said speak up.
She's so excited that I'm here. She's
I
like,
really
Well, you know-
am hype. Okay.
You know what it is? It's whenever she doesn't wear a headphone that she can hear herself.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
weird. I'm louder when I don't have
Yeah,
headphones in.
yeah.
When I can't hear myself, I'm louder. I don't know what it is.
Spiking those levels, but it's all good.
It's for a good cause.
It's for a
It
great
is.
cause for fucking
Yeah.
ghosts and
It's
ghouls
for true
everywhere.
crime. Okay.
So is that everything you got?
Yeah, that's everything
Wow.
I can think of. My mom used to have a ghost at an old apartment that she was in. He
Oh,
would
fuck.
try,
Love a-
like in the bathroom.
Love a potty ghost.
Yeah. So she was in the bathroom, and the door handle was like jiggling, like somebody was trying to get in. And she thought it was her boyfriend, and he was like, or she's like, okay, stop, I'm in here. And,
Right.
you know, whenever she was done, she came out, there was nobody in the house. She called him like, did you leave? And he's like, no, I'm at work. Yeah. And then
That's,
another time she was in the bathroom, like brushing her teeth or whatever, door wide open, nobody was home, and somebody was pulling at her pants, like her pajama pants.
Like pulling at her. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Like pulling down,
Okay.
like a little
That's-
kid type
Oh
of
my god,
thing.
no.
Okay, it's one thing if like there's doors opening or closing.
Right,
and
but like,
you're
don't
saying,
tug on my clothes. Don't touch me.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a whole nother fucking ball game when they start touching.
Yeah. And I've never experienced anything at that house that she was at, but she has like stories.
Oh, that's creepy. So maybe next October we'll have you back on to tell us
Hey.
more.
Spooktober.
fucking
That's what we're
stories.
calling it.
Okay, we can. Call
I
it out.
love it.
It's so original. So wait, we
Yeah.
were just talking. We were just
Never
talking
heard it
about how
before.
someone called Sarah original
On MySpace. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean, bitch? I didn't know what it meant.
She thought that
Wait.
original.
I thought it meant like
This was a long time ago.
I was copying somebody. I like just
Wait,
didn't
are you
know.
on MySpace right now?
Oh my God,
Because
negative.
I feel way fucking old now. Like, shit.
Yeah, MySpace is coming back. Like, get on the
God,
wagon.
it should not. Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
we have got a couple questions for you. Are you ready?
Right.
Obviously.
Okay, so first question: have you ever played with a Ouija board?
No. Fuck no. Absolutely
God,
fucking
okay.
no.
Okay, are you like totally against them?
No. I just don't fuck with that.
Okay, all right,
Just like,
sounds
no,
good.
I just don't fuck with
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
So, are you superstitious?
Yeah.
I feel that. I am too.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's more cautionary than
Right.
Okay,
you know,
that's a
kind of
very
thing.
fucking good word. I like that. Yeah.
yeah. It's more just in case it
Right.
is
I don't
real,
want to fuck
I'd
my
rather
life up
not.
more.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you can walk around the ladder and not under it, like that's
Exactly.
I thought of the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the final girl, the first to die, the comedic relief, the skeptic, the smart one, or the killer?
Ooh.
I feel like I have two for you.
Can I be the skeptic and the killer?
Oh, those were not. That was half of what I was going with. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
you can
I want to
skeptic and the
be
killer.
like, they like, let's say we're in Saw and they think that there's absolutely no way out. And I'm like, you guys, I've seen this before. I think there's a way out, but then there really isn't. So I'm like fucking with them and I'm like, boom, you're dead.
And then it was you the whole time.
Yep.
Whoa.
You're the one we were rooting for.
Jonathan seems to think I'm the first one to go.
Okay, here's my reasoning behind that. So, okay, obviously, I'm the comic relief.
Okay,
we were
but
all.
so am I.
Okay,
We were all
Sarah's
thinking it.
Sarah's the first one to die because a couple months ago, I was having a little get together at my house and there was a knock on the door. Sarah opens the door and there's a man there with food in his hand, and Sarah lets the man in and is like, "How do you know Jonathan? Welcome to the party."
Listen, I'm party first, worry later.
It was the pizza delivery man.
She's got something going there.
Thanks.
But also, we both might be the first to die because we did invite over those adult men who were trying to sell us drugs.
Right,
Oh
and
my
we
God.
smoked with them. Well, I did.
Oh, I'm gonna have to edit this out, Mom. Please don't fucking listen to this episode. Oh Christ. Okay, but this
Love
isn't
North
about us.
Philly locals.
Oh God.
But
Okay.
Sarah
so,
seems like a feisty little bitch. Like she'd
I
be like,
sure
fuck
am
no,
a feisty
I
little
think
bitch.
not.
I'm so sassy.
I am
It's
not
bad.
dying first.
Right, I'd be like, fuck you bitches.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hide somewhere because I'm
Yeah.
small. I'm gonna
okay.
take
Exactly.
it to my advantage.
Yeah, but when we had that house party that was
definitely.
80 plus
I def
people,
let that
you were the
pizza
first to
man in.
die.
I def did.
No, you were the first to die.
Oh, I
You
sure
locked
was.
yourself in the
Jonathan,
bathroom.
he had
Yeah.
pizza. What do you expect?
Oh my god. Okay, fun fact, I hate pizza.
Oh
She's
my
like,
God.
Okay,
I gotta
no,
go.
you don't hate pizza. You just like it's not preferred by you.
I
She just doesn't like pizza. Isn't that weird?
No, it's not.
my
I had pizza
God.
Fridays growing up, and I had pizza every
Oh,
fucking
that's why.
Friday. Yeah,
God.
I'm sick
like
of
Okay.
it.
All right. So next question.
Mm-hmm.
So you're given the death penalty, unfortunately. What is your last meal?
Ooh, I've thought about this significantly, like way too much time. Pistachio
like-
ice cream.
Oh,
Oh.
love that. Oh my god, that's my favorite.
Or like, your favorite ice cream. And my grandma's albondigas. It's like a meatball soup.
What's that?
Albondigas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a meatball soup. And I think that's it.
Just those. That's it.
Oh, and red vines.
Oh. Okay. So you're Red Vines versus Twizzlers. You pick Red Vines.
Is there even a yes.
So to me,
Oh my God.
personally, I don't even think. I think they just look the same. I feel like there's nothing about them that like taste the same. I like them both.
No. Red vines all the way.
Okay. All right. So
Are
we
red
see where you.
vines the same as pull parts?
No.
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 What's red vine?
Oh Christ! I'm gonna take you to the movie theater later. Okay.
Okay, it's me. So, which urban legend scares you the most, or scared you the most as a child?
If any.
I was scared of everything, I think. La Llorona.
Okay.
I
Don't know that.
guess it's a Mexican, or should I say Hispanic, urban legend, I guess, that this lady lost her kids. I forget fucking how. She lost her kids, and whenever you see her, she's crying for her children, blah blah blah.
Oh god.
So
Oh no! And then if you talk to her or look at her, she takes your soul.
probably, but it was like, if you act bad, this bitch is gonna like come and fucking get you because she doesn't have any fucking kids. So do you want her to get you or
no.
not? Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Funny side story.
So that
Similar
for
to-
sure.
Oh my God! Similar to that, because I'm gonna literally make this about me.
Please do.
When I was a kid, my mom always, to get me to like act like not like a monster. I mean, I was a good child, I like to say.
Yeah.
But compared to my brother, I was really good. And my mom would always tell me the gypsies were going to come and get me.
Oh
So
my
in
God.
my head, for some reason, I had an idea of what the gypsies looked like. And there was one day when I was looking out, we had this huge ass window that was the front of our house. And there was a Volkswagen like bus, like an old ass 1960s Volkswagen Beetle like bus that drove past. And I thought it was the gypsies. And I fucking lost my
I
shit.
can literally see you. I know what you looked like as a child, so I have like a full description.
My mom never let me live it down, so she used it against me. She was just like,
That's
"Yeah,
amazing.
they can't. You saw how they know where you live, so if
They
you're
were
fucking
coming to
around,
check on you
Fuck
because you
yes,
were bad.
I love her.
Barbara is amazing.
Barbara's
I
great.
love
Hey, Barb.
her. But I don't know so much like urban legend as I was like terrified of aliens as much as I'm obsessed with them. Really quick side story. So my mom, when we were younger, she would put us to sleep and then she would go to the bathroom to do her shit, right? Like probably take her face off, relax, get away from her goddamn kids. And the bathroom was like really close to the room that I was in, so I could see like that the light was on. So I would see her go into the bathroom and just it felt like hours until she came out. And I used to think that when she would go into the bathroom, the aliens knew that she was alone and they would abduct her and then do whatever the fuck. And then when she came back out of the bathroom, that like, you know, she was back.
They just put her
And I
back.
was always
Right,
so
exactly.
scared.
Wait, oh my
Not
god,
far off.
your mind as a child is so crazy. I remember, and I honestly don't know how to explain this. I thought my mom was a skeleton for some reason, and I don't even know how to explain that. But like as a child, I remember I thought my mom was a skeleton, and it always used to scare me. I thought and honestly, she kind of is.
I mean,
How?
yeah.
Because she
We all
literally is a
are.
human and has a skeleton.
Oh, that's true. Okay. I'm like, how? Explain it to me. I'm sorry. I just spiked again.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Okay,
Yeah.
so speaking of childhood, what was your favorite Halloween costume growing up if you did that type of thing as a child?
I did, and I was kind of like everything. I did whatever the fuck. Like I would dress up. I couldn't dress up as the same thing twice every year. Like absolutely fucking not. So
Okay,
I remember,
what's one that like
No-go.
sticks out in your mind that you're like, yes, this was it. I was working. I was feeling my shit. I was strutting my shit from house to house to collect candy. I said, bitch, I'm gonna get red vines at this house. I'm gonna get red vines at that house.
Not only was I strutting house to house, I strut in a fucking costume like little contest, and I fucking won that bitch. So I was this like spider witchy thing. So it was just like a witch dress basically with like orange accents, and I glued spiders like all over my face.
Yes.
And I teased my hair. I had black lipstick, which was like so fucking cool. And to top it off, I put a tiny little spider on my tongue so that it looked like I had a tongue ring.
I love that. Yes, girl. Live your best life.
I love it.
And then I won like some little contest for it. And I was like,
Yes,
fuck
girl.
yes.
Oh God.
I never won Halloween contests ever.
That was the only one I ever won.
To be 21 years old again.
And I was like, these fucking peasant ass kids with their stupid costumes.
Bye. I'm original.
Yeah.
I sure am.
I put a spider on my tongue.
To make it look like a tongue ring. So chocolate candy or fruity sweet chewy candy?
Oh, I hate chocolate fruity.
Wow.
Okay. All right. No follow-up questions. Okay. Hocus Pocus or Halloween Town?
Hocus Pocus.
Okay. Neat.
Very good.
Very good.
Which horror movie murder? Wait, what? Oh. Which horror movie murder or death did you find most disturbing?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. I guess what really fucked me up, I don't know if it's like, if it would count for this question because I knew everything else was fake, but the Blair Witch Project like really fucked me up. What
We
happened?
just talked
We
about this.
just talked about that.
Like
Oh
what
my God,
really
this
happened?
episode.
Where are these people? What? No.
Yeah.
How did they die? I don't want to go into the woods. Help.
Right. I watched it for the first time at my dad's old girlfriend's house, and she lived in the woods. And I went home and I slept with my mom for a week, but that didn't even help me.
No.
I was sweating buckets. I was so anxious. I was overheating. Like, it was so bad.
Yeah,
Like,
and it
even
was the
sleeping with my mom
first-
didn't help me.
No, it didn't, because once it like scares you, like you're fucked. And that was,
Right.
Yeah.
I think for me, that was like the first like found footage or like real movie
Yeah,
that
I
kind
think
of
for
like came
everybody
out.
it was pretty
Yeah.
like groundbreaking.
So
So it was
creepy.
terrifying. But as far as like everything else, I knew like they couldn't be real. So
Okay, but like let's pretend that you're thinking that they're real. Is there anything else?
Ooh,
Maybe not. Okay.
probably Jason.
Any of the deaths that he caused. Oh my God, when he pushed that dude in the wheelchair down like all those stairs.
I don't know. Just anybody fucking attacking me, dude. Like I can't.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Yeah.
So mine would be the scene from Final Destination 3 with the tanning bed, where the two
I don't think I ever
girls-
watched that one.
Oh
They get
God,
stuck in there.
They get stuck in the tanning.
Or do they
bed.
fry?
Oh.
They
Hell
fry,
yeah.
girl. They
And
fry.
and ever since then I did stand up tanning beds, and now I don't go tanning.
Well, you shouldn't tan anyway
Yeah,
because
it's
like
not
your
good.
skin and cancer, but it's fine.
When
Okay,
you
so-
like change your lifestyle because of a fucking movie, like
Oh, okay. So they were in a
it
lay down
ruins
bed,
you.
and what I just went from a lay down bed to a stand up bed. So yeah, I really had to change my lifestyle, and it was really
but
hard on me.
still.
What?
I said, but still, you're not living your best life. You want to lay down.
No, I don't want to
Lay
fucking
down,
lay down.
bitch.
Okay, because I've been in a couple lay downs since, and I understand it's a movie, and I've been on horror movie sets before, but that thought in my head, the fact that I'm literally laying on glass with bulbs under it
How
where I
did they
could
get stuck in there again?
Oh my God, you're gonna make me walk you through the scene. So the guy tells them not to bring their Slurpees in. They bring their Slurpees in. They put them on top of a bookshelf. So
Oh,
the Slurpee has
God.
condensation and it drips down onto the AC unit. They turn the AC on. They get into their thing. They get topless because they're trying to get views. This is Final Destination 3,
Yeah.
2004. It was a different time. Ashley Tisdale who bitch. So as they're in there, they're like, oh, it's hot. So there's like a coat rack and the AC turns on. As the AC turns on, it knocks over the coat rack, which knocks over a tree, which hits the bookshelf on the wall, and the bookshelf falls on top of them. And the girl goes to open it as the shelf falls on top of her thing. Well, when she opens it, the leverage she gives it maneuvers, it like turns, it's really hard to explain if you're not watching it. It turns the shelf and it literally pins them both in by the shelf because there's two beds in one room. So it's a shelf that's going across the two beds, kind of like a little bridge. And when they go to lift it, they can't because it's literally pinned them in the way that the
No.
shelf landed on top of it. And then it gets too hot. And then the condensation from the Slurpees that the dude told them not to bring in starts exploding, and the bulbs start to explode, and they basically fry to death. Anyway, let's move on to rapid fire questions.
okay.
Okay. Kit Kat
That was
or
really quick. Okay.
Kit Kat or Reese's?
Reese's.
Okay.
Salem the cat or Binks the cat?
Thanks.
Right. Okay. I love that.
Skittles or Starburst?
Skittles.
Haunted house or haunted hayride?
Hayride.
Would you rather be attacked by a werewolf or a vampire?
A vampire.
Pumpkin seeds or pumpkin pie?
Ugh. Pass?
Neither.
Okay.
Pumpkin
Wow.
carving?
All right. So black bats or black cats?
Black cats.
Murder weapon of choice.
Oh.
I know you thought about it.
What'd you say?
My hands?
Your hand.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. No follow-up questions.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's hopefully they won't use this audio clip on 2020 someday. So our last two questions, and I think I know the answer to the second one. So what is your favorite part of Halloween?
Oh my God, everything. The colder weather, well, in California, kind of. The colder weather, all the black and orange, everything, the decor, the spirit, the dressing up, everything.
I love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite serial killer and why?
Ed Gein, he's a babe.
Oh,
That's
God,
not
I
why,
knew that you were
but-
going to say that, and it makes me want to throw up.
I don't know. I think maybe because to me he was like the most normal, very unassuming, and that's terrifying. Even though he doesn't count, if we're gonna count serial killers, like as far as like more than 3, Fuck. Oh, it's so terrible. Gacy?
Oh, I actually lived in Illinois, kind of near where he lived.
No way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, he lived in Kane County, and I actually used to do plays in Chicago and in Kane County.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. No, you shut up.
So you're a playboy.
Yeah, baby.
But
funny.
yeah,
Okay.
I know Geen doesn't count as a quote unquote serial killer, so I guess
Right.
I'd say Gacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just for those listening, it's not like her favorite serial killer. She's not rooting them on.
Oh,
Maybe
God,
low
no.
key
Oh, Lord.
she is. No,
No,
she's
he was
not.
terrible.
Yeah, okay, good. Just want
Yeah.
to clarify. All right, so, okay, thank you so much, Janine. We had a little technical difficulty there, but thank you
It's
so
fine.
much, Janine, for
Thank you guys.
coming and hanging
I
out
had
with
so
us.
much fun.
Where can people find you?
Oh my God. So we are on Twitter at True Crime Girls. We are on Facebook. If you just search True Crime Girls, you'll find us. We're on Instagram at True Crime Girls. My personal Instagram is Janine TCG. That's JANINE TCG. So just follow us everywhere, please.
Yes,
Yeah,
follow
do
them
it.
everywhere,
You won't
but
regret
don't
it.
follow them home.
Okay.
But don't follow us home.
Did I get it right?
That's right.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, and you know where to find us. Email us your creepy stories at odditiespodcast@gmail.com. You know where to stalk us on Instagram and Twitter. Give us a 5-star rating, and if you would like to, patreon.com/esoteric oddities. Thank you, guys.
Woo, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.